Okay, and then this is audio. Okay, here we go. It begins in 3, 2, 1.
I don't see why you let that girl eat up so much of your time. Doesn't she have any life of her own?
Mom, if you would just stop thinking of Vicky as a threat to my virginity, you would live a lot longer.
Dave, don't talk to me like that.
Yes, Mom.
I drink to quiet the voices in my head. This is the Morning Stream.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to TMS. It's the Morning Stream for Thursday, May 5th. Cinco de Mayo. Mayo. Mayo? Mayo.
Mayo. Yeah, Mayo.
Mayo. Right? Not Mayo.
Yeah. Not Mayo. No, it is Mayo.
It's not the 5th of Mayo.
That's Cinco de Best Foods. Cinco de Hellman's.
Cinco de Hellman's. Well, it depends on what side of the country you're on, and we don't want to get in that fight. People always fighting over that. Who has the best mayo?
Yeah, jeez.
And then there's Jury, who says no one should have mayo because mayo's gross.
No mayo is good mayo, according to Jury.
Yeah. It's good to have you all here. Hope you have a nice the 5th of May and get all sorts of good food and all sorts of stuff like that. We're doing I think we're doing tacos tonight. I'm not sure.
I would assume so. Yeah. We're going to be doing right by the theater where we're seeing Doctor Strange and the Mayo of Madness.
Oh, right.
There's a Chuy's, which is an Austin staple, an Austin Mexican food staple. We've got a couple up here in Denver now, and they have such good food. So good.
Is it
probably going to be busy as hell though?
It's like Tex-Mex style business.
Total Tex-Mex.
Okay. Boy, that sounds good right now. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys had Chuy's there too, right? Because I know... Oh, no, I guess Kim brought you back a Chuy's shirt when she went to Austin or something.
Yes, I have a Chuy's shirt from Austin, and I have fond memories of that shirt, but no actual food tasting. Oh, look at Kim and her sombrero. Look at this.
Look at that.
She brought me... Good, man. Where'd you get that? Is that really we have that hat? We should throw it on the ground and dance around it. Okay. She agrees. Got full agreement from the wife.
Excellent.
Anyway, so happy that to everybody. I thought we'd start things off today with a little bit of an email. Okay?
Yeah, please.
One from Brent P. And I don't know if we have any of our... Oh, we do. TVZ Gone is here, so this is kind of a question for him. Here's what he says. Hey, Scott and Brian, did you guys take any pics while you were in Vegas? I've not seen anything. I want to relive the experience vicariously through you two. Brent P.
Aww.
I know there were lots of pictures being taken, both at portions of it anyway, were being shot by both TVZ Gone and I lost the guy's name. Crap. I want to give him credit.
Yeah.
Name. His name.
I haven't met him, and I said, "Oh, you're the other photo guy who's taking pictures here," and I can't remember his name.
I felt bad because
I mean, Monkey Bananas was streaming the whole thing.
Yes, we got video out of Monkey Bananas, but somebody did these two did real, pro photography men. Is who they were.
SLR cameras pointed at us all the dang time.
That's right, except for when I beat that guy, and I felt bad because he was also part of my streak.
That was Cheesy G.
Sorry, no, not the final game. My one of my first games was against that photo dude.
I'm talking about when Cheesy G beat that guy.
Beat that guy. Yeah. Did we? So that all did. But how did she doesn't have to go return there and do any kind of testimony or anything?
No.
Okay.
And here's the difference between the Plaza and every other hotel in Vegas.
Go.
So I was talking with our contacts there, and I said, "Oh yeah," they said, "Hey, how did everything go?" And I said, "Oh, went all right. We had one little altercation where one of our guests got assaulted, or assaulted, touched inappropriately by another person at one of your bars. But the bartenders helped her out, and the police, were on her side and everything. She even gave them warnings, said that hey, if you touch me again, I'm gonna punch you in the face." And when they touched her again, she punched him in the face.
Yep.
And so I told them all this. I mean, I paraphrased it, of course, and said, "Yeah, so if there's any way that we can get the footage from the camera above the Omaha bar from Monday night, we'd love to see it. And maybe she'd want to keep it in case there's any future issues with this person, like any sort of pressing charges." I can't imagine
Yeah,
he'd be dumb enough to do that.
She probably wouldn't, neither would he. I mean, they're gonna obviously he's in trouble, so
yeah,
that's all happening. But I don't want her to have to deal with it more.
They replied back to me and said, "Oh, usually they scrub those after like 7 or 8 days, but I'll see what I can do. Let me see if I can find it." And I'm thinking, my God, if I were to ask the Bellagio for something like that, they would tell me to go F off.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't even answer you. You wouldn't even get to ask the question.
They'd like go.
They're not giving you any security footage. Forget it.
But the Plaza, man, that's why we love the Plaza. They're
pretty great, pretty down to
earth.
earth.
They're the Frogpants of Vegas, really. I mean,
they kind of are. It's nice because you're right. Usually dealing with these places, they're just monolithic and impenetrable.
Yeah, exactly. Soulless, faceless organizations, but the Plaza has a soul and a face, and we love that soul and that face.
Yeah, we love the face, the soul, and really all the other parts are nice as well.
That's right. Anyway, so back to Brent P's question. Well, if you're in the Discord, Brent, then boy, oh boy, have we got a channel for you inside the Discord. There is it's now called Other Meetups, or Frogpants Meetups.
Oh yeah, Jeannie's been doing a great job sort of culling these groups into where they should be after they're done. It's great. She's doing a
great job, or like a really heavy-handed job. I'm trying to decide.
Oh, you don't like the heavy lifting.
I'm kidding, Jeannie. I totally am kidding.
I really like it.
Yeah, no, these things need, like, you got to cull we don't need here's what we're all doing Monday. Oh, chat in here if you need to remember where we're at.
Yeah.
But we do still have the TMS Vegas Photos channel. That channel's not going away. TMS Vegas Chat's not going away. But the TMS Vegas Photos is, well, now there's a bunch of chat in there. Come on, move it to the other channel. But there's a ton of photos in there from the event. There's a picture of me somehow force choking Red Fraggle. I don't know how I did that. Just like, did the Darth Vader business on her, but she's far away.
Sure.
You got people getting tattoos, absinthe, lots of stuff from Area 15. Look at all this great stuff. Stuff from the karaoke night. Mm-hmm. I think that's Shave Maddox up there on stage rocking it.
Yeah, that's who that is. Night. What is he? Oh, wow. Look at him up there commanding the crowd.
I've been zooming in on these photos to actually look at the TV behind him and see if I can figure out what he's singing, because little girl, something in the middle. Oh, he must be doing it takes some time. The Middle by Jimmy Eat World. Maybe is what he's doing.
Jimmy Eat World. Yes, that is the song.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think that's what he's doing. Just from those 3 lyrics. Hey everybody, check out schlyric.com. SHLYRIC. If you want to play lyric games like I just did.
Yeah, he's interesting because he's super fun to be around, like totally cool guy, right? But he's kind of quiet and unassuming.
Yeah.
But also has got that, I don't know how to describe this. There's something about his demeanor that makes me smile and laugh for no reason. He doesn't have to say anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's something about his chill state where, I have resting bitch face. I look terrible, and I'm just like, if I'm just looking at my phone, people think I'm pissed. It's just how I look. I can't help it. There's no around it. You're pretty neutral looking. My sister looks like she's trying to help everybody. Everybody's got a thing. Shave Maddox, just a delight to see sitting there. Something about him.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't know what it is. It's really weird. Anyway, so there you have it. We want to see your photos, I guess is the point Brent's asking, and we'll see those soon and spread those far and wide. There's a really good Red Fraggle one of me and you outside of the High Roller. I think that's where this is.
Oh, really?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's out in. It was day one. It was out in front of the.
Oh, is it the pool? The pool party.
The pool,
thing.
And you're like whispering something to me, and I've got like a little card. So people should caption this, and
I know. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Oh my God, caption contest.
Yeah.
Ooh, what can we give away? I have. I could do a swag pack of ANTB, Coverville, and Soundography swag.
Yep, and I'll throw in some stickers and magnets and stuff. We'll make a combo pack, ship 2 different things to the same person.
Cool.
Make their day happy. So here, you know what? Sure. We'll start the contest here, so you've all heard it. You've seen the image.
Yes.
Red Fraggle, give them a permalink somewhere so they can just get to it. And then I'll put this up on Twitter after the show.
Oh, good.
And push it there for everybody who can't be here live, and then we'll give away the prize. We'll give it away Monday for this caption contest.
Okay, yeah, works for me.
Look at this random, like,
give you the weekend. Yep.
Yeah, give you the weekend. You guys need the weekend.
Well done, Brent.
Yeah.
You somehow goaded us into doing a caption contest.
There it is. All right. Let's see.
Yeah, Tom is pretty tall. Retlaw's asking if
he's averagely tall, I'd say. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not a short guy by any stretch. Put me next to Bobby, and then you'll think we've done something terrible. I mean, like, Bobby's a little tiny person compared to me. I look like his
extra
dad.
Sparkly. He's science disco ball Jesus.
Yeah,
Man.
I feel like he is science disco ball Jesus. Yeah. Why don't you change your name, Bobby? That should be it from now on. All right. Well, enough inside baseball. Let's get to a segment. Do you like reading, Brian? How do you feel about reading?
Yes, I like reading. I like books.
Yeah?
I like listening to books, and I like looking at books. I have books around me.
Are you currently reading anything of note? I know you've been busy
I am
lately,
not.
but...
I'm about to start.
Yeah.
Hold on.
No, it's a good. You're reaching for it, grabbing it, got it. Oh, here we go.
Because there was two I wanted to show you. There's this is the one I'm about to start, J.L. Civey, and it's a book called L Extreme, based on the songs of Benji Hughes. This is an original novel.
Yeah.
That Jacob Lasivita, who is a TMS and Coverville listener, wrote.
Oh, that's
it's
cool.
It's the second book. Timely Persuasion is the first one, and that's the one I'm doing books on tape. I'm doing an audiobook form of.
Oh, you're doing one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm doing one. And then there's this one, the official Dictionary of Sarcasm.
Oh, sweet.
Which is probably the most useful book I've ever seen in my damn life.
I imagine so. This is going to help the show, too. This is content.
It's going to help the show because it's sarcasm. Like, tell me a topic and I'll tell you a sarcastic thing about it.
All right.
Any topic at all.
Here you go. Areola size.
Oh, jeez, Louise. Really?
I don't know why that popped into my head.
Why is that the first thing?
I don't know. I feel bad now. I promise I wasn't fixated on nipples or anything. It just came out.
Are you looking at Tractor? Are you on a Tractor website?
I'm on a Tractor
right
website,
now?
and something just came up. Now I'm there again. I can't stop myself.
Let's see here.
I'm going to play this
way.
Well,
I've got...
I'm going to play this way you look.
Okay.
While Brian looks up his sarcastic reply, welcome Amy to the program. Hi, Amy.
I'm certainly not going to say the sarcastic reply now.
No, yeah, of course not.
Well, I have one for you, sir.
Oh.
It's almost as though I suggested there be a caption contest for that photo.
Oh, you did?
Did you really?
Yes.
Oh, I missed it. Where did you do this?
Red on air, Fraggle. I mean, really, come on.
Did you really do this? I missed this. Was it in the thread?
You did it in the TMS photos channel?
Crap. Crap.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's our
That's
bad.
Okay. It was just funny. I was like, oh, that's what, and Claire even caught it. He was, Claire was like, oh, if only someone had suggested that, Red.
Yeah,
like,
Claire's on. She's on some kind of high alert. That girl. I don't know what her deal is. Well, it's good to have you here, Brian. Do you have a retort? A sarcastic retort?
No. I'm not going to do one for breasts. Plus,
Okay.
this one that they have in here really isn't that funny. Actually,
all right.
It's How about a sarcastic retort? I'm going to randomly pick a page here.
All right.
Here's a sarcastic retort.
Go.
Photographs. We're talking about photos, right?
Sure.
Oh my God. Hold on, got to get the reading glasses. It's light peach type on white paper. Here we go.
They're just trying
Photograph.
to get you. Yeah.
An irrefutable visual record of the fact that between the ages of 11 and 15, you looked like a total dork.
Oh, wow. Sarcasm just dripping out of that retort.
Nice.
Oh, zing!
Whoa. Put that book
was
in a
very
safe
good.
place between now and the next time you read it. Good Lord. Dangerous business.
Let's see. Hold on. Perverted, a word used to indignantly describe an abhorrent sexual practice that you might like to try. That one's better.
That one's all right. Yeah, that one's all right. I can feel the true sarcasm.
I've actually read Timely Persuasion, Brian.
Oh, have you really?
Well, yeah. You probably don't remember this, but I actually won it from you as a coverable contest years ago. It was a long time.
Weird.
Long time ago. But yeah, and I enjoyed it. It's good. It's
It is.
it's an interesting take on time travel,
time travel, yeah.
and pop culture references and things. It's interesting.
Nice.
It totally is.
Nice. By the way, I ended up with that. So Amy gave me the Doogie Howser game, the single person sit down and play thing that you sent
box
her.
one.
Yeah, that one.
The Hauser game.
So I have that to do. So we've now, it's gone from Denver to Georgia to Salt Lake City. Where it'll go next, who even knows?
Yes,
Who knows?
exactly.
I was thinking Tom Merritt might like something like that, so maybe we'll do that. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that would be fun.
He'd probably like that.
You should make some content out of it though, Scott, because like watching you try to figure out things, as we know,
Oh gosh,
is really
yes.
fun.
I will have my
So,
wife film the entire ordeal. How about that?
You should. You absolutely should. By the way, desk, something on the top of which you have always wanted to have fierce animalistic sex with your coworker, but somehow only ever managed to use for data entry and the occasional power stapling job.
Wow. The sarcasm. You just,
Yeah, that's sarcasm right there.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like sarcasm. It more feels like
it's like the tasteless jokes for 2022 or something.
kind of. Yeah, exactly.
Remember those books? Those were must-haves when we were in junior high and high school. You had to have the truly tasteless jokes.
All those thin books in a variety of colors.
Yeah. What a weird
It's
thing.
as though he wished he had invented Urban Dictionary.
Yeah.
You know?
Right?
Like-
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of do. All right, Amy, we've got you here, of course, for Read This, our segment about books and cool books people should be checking out, especially books that fit our community. Brian found something good in there.
I found a good one. I'm going to bookmark that
All
one.
right,
That's
bookmark
good.
that for later.
Yeah.
Amy, do you want me to play this clip ahead of time? Do you have any kind of setup for it? How do you want to do this?
Yeah, you can go ahead and play this clip. I will just say today we're going back to Discworld because I love it there.
Oh, my gosh. All right, so this is about 2-minute clip, everybody, so sit tight and enjoy.
Another and larger part of Tiffany's brain was thinking of the word susurrus. It was a word that not many people have thought about, ever. As her fingers rubbed the trout under its chin, she rolled the word round and round in her head. Susurrus. According to her grandmother's dictionary, it meant a low, soft sound, as of whispering or muttering. Tiffany liked the taste of the word. It made her think of mysterious people in long cloaks, whispering important secrets behind a door. Susurrus. She'd read the dictionary all the way through. No one told her you weren't supposed to. Something else was in the water, only a few inches from her face. It was a round basket, no bigger than half a coconut shell, coated with something to block up the holes and make it float. A little man, only 6 inches high, was standing up in it. He had a mass of untidy red hair, into which a few feathers, beads, and bits of cloth had been woven. He had a red beard, which was pretty much as bad as the hair. The rest of him, that wasn't covered with blue tattoos, was covered with a tiny kilt, and he was waving a fist at her and shouting, "Crivens, gang away out of here, you daft wee hinny! Where's the green head?" With that, he pulled at a piece of string that was hanging over the side of his boat, and a second red-headed man surfaced, gulping air. "Night time for fishing," said the first man, hauling him aboard. "The green head's coming." "Crivens," said the swimmer, "let's off ski." And with that, he grabbed one very small oar, and with rapid back and forth movements, made the basket speed away. "Excuse me," Tiffany shouted, "are you fairies?" But there was no answer. The little round boat had disappeared in the reeds. Probably not, Tiffany decided. Then, to her dark delight, there was a susurrus.
Ooh, a susurrus.
Susurrus.
Ooh, that girl reminded me of you with an accent, Amy.
Oh, it's almost like that's exactly what it was.
Oh, my hell. Is that really you? That was totally you.
Yes, that was me.
Weird.
Oh, really?
There is an audiobook version of this book, but I mean,
Weird.
I'm sure that
I had no freaking idea that was actually you. I mean, I thought, oh, well, there's a passing resemblance to the tenor of this person's voice or something. That's
Yeah.
really amazing.
Oh my God, that's
Really
fantastic.
good.
No, yeah, that was me. Okay, so the name of the book is The Wee Freeman. The name of the series is the Tiffany Aching series, and I absolutely, Scott, if you want to put up the little picture I sent you with the little Discworld map, this would be a good time for that. But yeah, like there's a whole series that's just about this girl named Tiffany Aching, and she is the main character. So it kind of just bugged me that the narrator on Audible was a man. And so I decided, I was like, and plus, just to be honest, I just kind of wanted to read all the silly voices myself. So
That's impressive.
I just thought it would be fun,
You
so I
just-
recorded it myself.
You're the first person I've ever met who made their own audiobook from a book. I'm sure someone else has done this. But
Interestingly, I used to do that all the time. I used to do that for my kids. My kids always wanted me to read out loud to them, before they became hideous teenagers and now have no time to hang out with me. But
Right.
yeah, they used to always want me to do the voices for everything and read all stuff out loud to them. And so some of them I actually did. I recorded a few of them and gave them to my cousins for their kids and stuff like that.
that's great. I love that.
Yeah.
Cool thing. So, man, I'm still a little bit blown away by that, and I'm having a hard time forming questions. So when you you do the entire
Take
book.
that as a compliment.
It is a compliment.
No,
100%.
I did this section for the show.
Oh, you
No,
did
I
this
didn't
this
do
is
the
fresh.
entire
This is right off the printer, then out of your voice printer. Okay, awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah. And it's actually I edited it down so that it would be under 2 minutes because there's actually a little bit more to it. And I was like, okay, we don't really need that part. And that's why I sent you the message. Was like, is it okay if it's 2 minutes? Because I usually try and limit it to 1 minute. But
Sure.
So, this chart you sent me is interesting because it's basically it's literally what it says: the Discworld Reading Order Guide 3.0, and it shows I guess it's an order to read them, but also it breaks them down into their chunks. And this is curious to me. Like, I didn't know there was there's a whole section here that says Industrial Revolution. I didn't know that was a part of his. I had no idea. There's the death novels, the watch novels, Ancient Civilizations, witches novels. Like, I guess the whole point of Discworld is that it is kind of all over the place, but I didn't realize how all over the place it is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and the reason that exists is because Terry Pratchett was sort of all over the place with the way he wrote them. And so he would bounce from the watch over to witches and whatnot. Like it didn't matter. So if you try and follow Discworld just in the order that they came out, you won't be lost or anything. I mean, it's all very self-referential and you'll get it. But if you want to have a sort of linear, this leads to this, leads to this, leads to this experience, then that reading guide is a really good way to do it. Yeah, and or if you just particularly like certain characters, like I love Tiffany Aching. That's my absolute favorite, and I also love the Time Monks. And again, the way he released the books, they're sort of all over the place, and you could see how some of them link to some large lines link to other lines in tangential ways. So if you just want to read everything that contains death or everything that can, as a character, everything that contains the Time Monks, you can follow this little chart and go, oh, okay, there's a reference to them there. And there's a thing here. And, but if you don't particularly like the Guards books, you can just avoid them. I don't see how you wouldn't like the Guards books because I love them.
So it's probably,
I'm going to save that for another time.
It's probably a lot. Well, I mean, obviously you have your favorite little thread there. I'm sure everybody does, and that's why a chart like this exists, right? For him,
right.
Like it feels like required Terry Pratchett breakdown data so that you kind of know where you want to spend your time.
Right, exactly, because it's very he did a wonderful job of building a world, and it is sprawling and all over the place. So if you have a particular thing that you want to stay in this little part of Discworld, then you can do that.
That's pretty awesome. Very cool. And where can people find this link other than our show, obviously, because they're hearing me talk about it and seeing it on stream. But where is this like a thing anyone can just get somewhere? Like
I just searched for it on Google. I searched for Terry Pratchett reading order or Discworld reading order, and that's the Google search that comes up.
That's awesome. All right, do that, everybody. You've talked about Terry Pratchett a few times on here, and I still don't know where I want to insert myself. Like
I
I've
know.
never read
I
any
was
of
actually gonna say, like, Brian has Parasite and Loki to bug you about. I'm gonna start bugging you about Discworld.
Oh, great. That's all I need.
Do not try to consume all three simultaneously. Your mind
No.
will explode.
Well, now that Moon
With
Knight's
the
over,
the dream segments we would get out of him, Brian. Like, think
Oh,
about the
geez, yeah.
massive weird dreams we would get if he were reading, you know, Hogfather at the same time as watching Loki. It would be
oh
fantastic.
my gosh, I
Would
already
be
have
amazing,
weird dreams.
yeah.
I think this, I don't know. Every time you do talk about it, I get tempted to start one. So, and I'm right now kind of not in a book, so maybe
between
it's time.
books
I'm
right
between
now?
books. I really, really love that Stormlight Archive book 1 thing from Brandon Sanderson. I loved it, and I'm tempted to just keep moving, but maybe I'll wait for his.
So there we
fourth book.
go. AV Tech John found the link to the
there you go.
Discworld
Use that.
three-parter guide. Oh, we
Yep.
can always count on AV Tech John.
No, it's just his job. He literally, this is his purpose for existing, is to find cool things
cool.
online. Yeah, that's his job.
We even get to talk about the actual book
Oh,
series.
yeah, the
I'm
book-
just
yeah, it was-
blathering on about Terry Pratchett. So Tiffany Aching
Yeah.
she starts out as a 9-year-old girl who lives on what in Discworld is called the Chalk, which is essentially an analog for, you know, the outskirts of Scotland.
Yeah.
And she wants to be a witch and ultimately is a natural witch. And she meets up with these little blue men who are called Pixies or Nakmak Feegle. And they believe that they are dead and that this is their heaven. And thus they get to run around and butt things with their heads and drink all they want. And basically they're like, you know, unruly Scotsmen.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. So it's a little, she's got 5 books where she goes on different adventures, and it's a great book for, again, it's sort of staying in my little thing I mentioned last time about loving YA novels. It's very appropriate for, you know, young readers. And Tiffany sort of grows up with the books. So by the 5th book in the series, which as an interesting footnote, The Shepherd's Crown was the last novel that Sir Terry Pratchett wrote.
So this character, do we ever see her in any kind of adaptations, movies, TV stuff, or any of that ever happened?
Not yet. I keep hearing mutterings about it on things like, I'm on Facebook group for people who love Discworld, and I keep hearing people muttering about it, but nothing has come to fruition just yet. They tried to make a TV series that was loosely based on the guards, but it didn't put them in Discworld. It put them in sort of a modern setting.
Boo.
And it didn't go over very well. I never actually saw it. There was so much backlash about it. I don't know if they just, you know, chucked it or what. Sorry. My husband hates when I use that as an expression for throwing things away. He's
his
like,
name
you
is
mean
Chuck,
you throw
yeah.
it away, right?
You chucked it in the bin.
Yeah, would he
Did you bin
prefer?
it?
Yeah.
Would he prefer that I Charles did away? No, he probably wouldn't. Nobody wants to Charles their leftover apple core or whatever. You know,
Right,
they want to chuck it. No, I understand why you would feel that way. All right, well, definitely do check all of this out, and as usual, Amy's full of great recommendations inside and outside of the show. Amy, tell people where they can track you down and hear more of your cool stuff.
Yeah, so I'm doing stuff on TikTok again. So Red Fraggle 3. I'm kind of trying to very intermittently be on Twitter, but I just kind of pop in there, say something funny, and then pop back out because it's bad for my mental health to be on
Good way to
Twitter
do
right
it.
now.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can follow the hashtag Chuck Says Weird Stuff if you want to see just wildly inappropriate things that my husband says. They're always fun and entertaining. Also, for anyone in the Southeast or who is willing to travel to the Southeast, we are trying to put together a fall tadpole meetup in the Southeast. We're thinking like Asheville. So there is currently in the other meetups Discord, there's currently a survey posted there.
Ooh,
so
very nice.
feel free to weigh in on that. And I think Chuck in September and I are trying trying to put that together.
Oh, I didn't know
Might be able to
September.
that's when you could possibly get Brian Dunaway to go to because it's close. It's in his backyard.
Yeah, he might even drive
That's
there
my
for that.
hope.
That
Yeah,
would be
that's
amazing.
That's my hope is
You
that
gotta-
we'll get Dunaway.
There's a
and
lot of.
Bobby
I know we
and-
have a ton of listeners in the in that area, specifically in Georgia. I think you'd probably have a pretty good turnout if we get the word out. So go check that out. If you haven't been to the Discord yet, you can get in there easily and for free and without any kind of code or anything. If you just go to frogpants.com/contact or TMS, any of the /forwards has all that info. So join up today if you have not already. Plus, it's a good community. Nice people in there. Join the
It is.
do-gooders
It's
group.
lovely.
Yeah, go do some good, too. You can do that. There's food. There's music. You can promote cool stuff you're doing. We let you do it all there except show naked pictures of yourself. That's the only thing that's off limits. Brian begged for it.
If you want to go see my frogs that I made for everybody, not everybody, but lots of people, there's pictures of those posted in the Discord as well.
Yeah, and if you want Brian naked, he has an OnlyFans page. It's fine. You go
That's
there.
right. No, that's a separate Discord channel. I'm looking at right now. It's right under TMS Vegas photos.
Oh,
It's
I didn't realize. I thought we'd move this
TMS
off-site.
After Dark photos, I think is what it's called.
Excellent. Well, once again, Discord wins. All right, Amy, it's always good to have you here. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and we'll see you next Thursday. Bye. How come I can't hang up on her? That's a good question. There she goes. All righty, that was good. Let's see. We have time for some news here this morning. We missed reporting our news yesterday, and I feel like we've journalistically let down the people. So now's the time to re-up our journalistic efforts by playing this.
Good morning, everybody. In the news this morning, good morning.
It's the news, and it's brought to you by...
Do you like a comprehensive video game focused podcast? Then listen to Core. Brand new episode tonight. Search for Core on all the podcast apps or get it now at frogpants.com/core.
Yeah, you want to hear what dirt we want to say about the Clash Royale ripoff Blizzard's making? You want to hear about that tonight?
Yeah.
You want to also hear about Square Enix selling off all of its Western studios and IPs such as Tomb Raider and others I can't think of at the moment. Why that's happening, why they're focusing entirely on their Japanese development. Well, we'll have a lot to say about that as well. So check it out tonight. It'll be live at 5 p.m. Mountain if you want to watch live. That's when we do it. Okay. Yes, with noted mobile games superfan John Jagger teaming again. In fact, we did a live watch along. I put the audio up on the feed, and I know you heard part of it, Brian. But man, he really, really dislikes mobile gaming. Really doesn't like it.
So does Stephanie in our chat room, or in our occasional chat room. She said, "Yeah, I'm with John. I don't like mobile gaming." And I say, "What do you do when you're waiting in line somewhere and it's a long line and you have to sit there?" She's like, "Oh, I look around and I talk to people around me." And I said, "Well, you're probably saving humanity from turning into a bunch of bent neck antisocial introverts."
Yeah, you're probably right. She's probably going the right direction. But for me and Brian, I'm gonna put some words in a row.
Exactly. I gotta put some letters into squares for points.
That's right.
Or I gotta jump over chasms and
Yep, I got to push some JPEGs around. You got to get it done.
Right, merge some pixels together to get points.
Yeah. Got to watch those numbers go up. All right, let's get to this story here.
Yeah.
Our first story of the day.
Speaking of Vegas.
Yeah, this is very Vegas focused. Actually, our first two stories are. To save water amid a mega drought, Las Vegas has outlawed grass.
Outlawed grass.
Yeah.
They allow grass.
Yeah.
And now they're
Outlawing
outlawing grass.
Yeah, and for all you 420 heads, they don't mean that grass, okay? They're just talking
that
about...
grass is still just fine.
Oh, you can
What
get
if you
that
grow
anywhere.
pot plants in your front yard? Is that okay? Because it kind of feels like it
Oh, that's a great question.
solves both issues.
I kind of want to see somebody's lawn made of nothing but cannabis grass. I kind of want to see what that looks like. Because would that even work? Because they grow tall, right? They don't grow short, so you'd basically get knee-high lawn. And then you could go out whenever you wanted, pick yourself off a bud or two, is my understanding. And then you take them inside and you do whatever you do. And then you roll those into some sort of doobie, right? A doobie.
Leaves. You dry out the leaves.
Yeah.
Scott.
Yeah, but then it's in doobie form.
That's right. Yes.
And then
It's
you
a
might,
spleef.
yeah. If I remember anything from high school, you have a Roach clip of some sort. Do you remember that? Remember Roach clips?
Totally remember Roach clips. Yeah, absolutely.
We had kids I knew in high school who never smoked an ounce of weed in their lives, but still had Roach clips on their hats and clothes and backpacks.
It was just like a way of saying, "Hey, I'm cool. If you need a Roach clip, I got you. I'm not partaking, but I got you if you need one."
Such 80s counterculture BS. It's so dumb. Anyway, so here's what they're doing. For Southern Nevada, dwelling is almost 2.5 million folks. There's a lot of people there. And visited by upwards of 40 million vacationers every year. The issue is especially acute. The area is determined by Lake Mead, the close by reservoir behind Hoover Dam in Colorado, for 90% of its ingested water. So all that water you're drinking while we're in Vegas, it's coming out of. Well, not in my case. I took a case of Costco water in our car.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Brought it?
So we drank that a lot. So I probably had some. I guess at the restaurants and things, I had some water there. But
Gotta stay hydrated.
Yep. Yeah. The lake has been shrinking since 2000 and is now so low. The unique water consumption was uncovered final week. What does that mean?
This is so poorly written.
It's really weird the way
article.
it's written.
Yeah.
So now the unique water consumption was uncovered final week. It's not just me, right? That's broken.
Final week. No.
That's broken. All right.
It's now so low. The unique water consumption was uncovered final week.
That makes no sense.
I wonder if it was. What is it? Global online money. It's not even money. They misspelled the word. What is it? Global online money. I don't know what is this website?
Line money. Global
Linimony. Global on Linimony.
This is effed. Global Online Money is the name of the site. If you go to the site and it says up in the header,
it is. But it's spelled.
But they spell it MONY. Yeah, on the URL. Boy, this is a trustworthy source.
That's awesome.
Well, at least
Nobody
they got
will
it.
Notice. Let's just. We bought the damn URL. Nobody will notice. Hopefully they don't.
I love the idea that somebody accidentally left the E off when they'd search for it.
Good Lord.
I've done that before. I bought a domain and went, oh shit,
and had a typo in the name.
Yeah. Or I searched for one with a typo and it said it was already taken, and I was like, dang it. So then I went and found an alternative, but really the one with the correct spelling wasn't taken.
Was available. That's
which was
great.
is weird. That happened with Fred and Cans. That's why I had. So I went to go find fredandcan.com.
Yeah.
And it said, oh, sorry, taken. And I went, oh, well, that's lame. Well, how is that even possible? So then I went to do anything else, and I found Fred and Can Comic Online or something, and that's what I ended up using. And then later, just for fun, I went and searched it again and went, wait, it's here. I could have had it. What happened? And so I don't know what I did, but I put some letter in there that made it something else, and it was taken, and I was so pissed at myself. It's all good now. It's all forwarding back to where it needs to go, but it was annoying. It was $15 I didn't need to spend either. Anyway.
Yeah, Terry Z in Chicago does point out we did just give away an award a week ago that had a typo of our own show's name.
Oh, yeah. But think of it this way. Like, we knew... Okay, so when Brian pointed that out, could we have fixed it, redone it, whatever? Yes.
Easily.
But Brian had already done most of the work on the front panel when we realized it. And second, so having him redo that's a pain. It's a lot to get ready for Vegas. He already had his plate full. So that was my main motivation, is like, we're not going to make Brian redo a thing that I effed up with the spelling. But also, it's more fun that it's misspelled.
It was very quick. It was a very short trip to, you know what, this is way more fun that it's a typo.
Yeah.
Way more fun.
Yeah, it didn't take much for us to agree that it's more fun.
More fun is a typo.
And less work. It works out. Anyway, I think Monkey Bananas ended up with that thing finally, because, again, his brother has no idea who we are and no connection. Because when Monkey Bananas...
Mike was carrying that thing around at the bar at Artifice like it was the statue that Indiana Jones rescues from the rolling ball at the beginning of Raiders. Like, he was prizing that possession. He was carrying it like Belloc wanted it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Belloc, he'd say, and his people go after him.
Exactly.
So
there is nothing that you can possess that I cannot take away.
But then Monkey Bananas ran around and had all of us sign it. That made me think he was going to keep it, but I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Mike earned it fair and square.
No, he totally earned it. He kicked
And
my
hopefully,
ass.
hopefully he listens to the show now. Like, can you imagine the guy who doesn't listen to the show gets brought along as a +1 or +2 to this fan event for a show that he doesn't listen to. He ends up winning a prize, a one-of-a-kind prize from the hosts of said show, and doesn't start listening. Then I don't want to know that person.
Mike, can you let us know? And if not, Monkey Bananas, did he fall to temptation and is part of the deal now? I'd love to know.
I'd love to know. Yeah, tell us. By the way, I have one more. I didn't tell you.
No, what do you got there?
I have, because I did 2 prints, right? So I have a second one that is unprimed, unlabeled.
Yeah, virgin.
A virgin arcade machine. I don't know what we do with it, but we do something with it.
Come up with something, yeah. We'll do. Let's do. I don't know. We'll talk about this, but I think we could do something really cool. I'll do some more art, and we'll make something rad out of it.
Sure, exactly. We'll come up with a label for a game called Asterods.
Asterods.
And,
yeah.
Yes.
Spell that wrong.
Asterods. Deluxe.
Oh, I would love to play a game of Asterods.
Deluxe. There we go. Asterods Deluxe.
Will the arcade let me eat donuts while I play, or is that going to make things?
Yeah, there you go. Donuts. Some delicious donuts.
Donuts. You know what we could do? Let me think about that.
Oh, we got an idea?
Well, I'm trying to think of I have some cool art I did for Brian a while back, some MODOK art. I was trying to think of a way we could just make a cool thing that you could display and have. We don't have to give it away, you know.
That's true. Good.
Something Brian wants to have, because, you know, he doesn't have enough trinkety stuff. He needs more little things.
I know, exactly. No, let's give it away as a prize. I don't need one more thing to dust, Scott Johnson. Plus, I don't know where I put it.
Yeah, where would you put it?
You know.
Everything's so symmetrical back there. I don't know where you'd even put it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? Final story now. We're going to stay in Lake Mead for a bit.
Wow. Well said.
Yeah.
I like that. Stay in Lake Mead for a bit.
Yeah, this is what happened to literally somebody. A body in a barrel was discovered at Lake Mead and is likely a gunshot murder victim from decades ago, say police. The plunging water level line in Lake Mead, the country's largest reservoir. Oh, I didn't know it was the country's largest. But, of course, this is written by real people who are smart and actually write things.
This is not written by Online Moni.
Yeah, an AI bot that wrote the whole
Online Moni and Tractors.com. Yeah.
Making that sweet money.
That's right.
Let's see. They unveiled another disturbing discovery this weekend, or over the weekend. Police say a body in a barrel. A person was spending time at the lake on Sunday afternoon, found the barrel, according to Las Vegas Metropolitan Homicide Lieutenant Ray Spencer. The person could see the remains in the barrel because it was corroded. Mm-hmm. You know, corrosion happens after time.
Yeah. Sure.
The investigators believe the person was likely a murder victim who died of a gunshot wound. According to the release, an investigation is now underway, and detectives believe the victim was killed sometime between the mid-'70s and early '80s, based on the clothing and footwear the victim was found with. So this is like some casino era.
Right, yeah, this would have been, Bugsy taking him out and,
yeah.
I should rub him out? Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yo, Vinny the Hands, or whatever his name would be.
Right, yeah.
You take care of that guy, that sort of thing. Investigators are working to confirm the identity of the victim, which was released to the Clark County Coroner's Office. About 25 million people in Arizona, Nevada, California, and Mexico rely on Lake Mead, which is running out of water at an alarming rate. They think... let's see. The barrel was likely dropped hundreds of yards off the shore back then, but now that's shoreline. So that makes sense. If it's pulled back that much. So my guess is it ain't the first. It ain't the last barrel they're going to find.
They'll find more. They're definitely going to find more barrels and more bodies.
Because that late 70s, early 80s period was a little dirty in Vegas. A little bit of they hadn't quite got the mob out of town yet. If you know
Robert Urich himself, I think, was responsible for at least 5 of those bodies.
Oh, easily. Him and a man called Hawk. They were out there all the time.
That's right.
Him and Commander Cisco out there burying bodies. That's it for your news. We are going to take a break, and when we come back, my sister Wendy's back. Everybody, she's back. Wendy's back again, and it's been like 3 weeks, so we've missed her terribly. She has a lot to say, and it'll be fun to have her here and talk about this cool email that we got.
She has a lot of advice all piled up that she's just going to spew out.
Yeah,
as
be
soon as
ready.
She answers the phone.
Yeah, be ready. It's like the front row of a Gallagher concert. You're going to want that tarp, okay? So get ready for that. Hey, Brian, before we go to her, we need music, so could you please give me some?
Sure. Let's go to Pasadena, California, and meet Charlie Hickey. He's releasing his debut album later this month, and it's via Satisfactory Records, which is run by Phoebe Bridgers, who's a friend of Charlie Hickey's. Charlie Hickey, and we know Phoebe Bridgers, and she's great, and we love her, and so she's put her stamp on approval of this song, this album. The album is going to be called Nervous at Night. Comes out May 20th on Saddest Factory Records. Gotta say that slowly so you know it's 2 words.
Sure.
Here is the new single, Gold Line.
That, by the way, that describes me. Saddest at night. That's one, or not saddest. What was it?
Nervous at
night.
Nervous
That's
at night.
totally me.
Yeah.
Nervous at night. I don't ever get nervous in the day. At night, my brain goes on full alert and I can't sleep. I hate it. So yeah, that's me. Oh, and I took one of your muscle relaxers last night. So I thought of you. Because I had to.
Did you wake up all foggy this morning? I did.
A little bit, yeah. That stuff's not. It's the hard stuff. You gotta pace yourself.
Get a good night's sleep, but boy, do I wake up foggy.
Yeah, Gorilla Grog in the morning. It's not really his name. All right. Anyway, here it is. We're gonna play the song. Come right back, everybody, because we're not gonna be long. We'll see you in a sec.
I'm not 18 anymore. By now I'm fat and can't do nothing.
The Morning Stream. It's what's in the yogurt.
We're back, everybody. Remind me who that was one more time.
That was Charlie Hickey from his upcoming album Nervous at Night, and a song called Gold Line.
No relation to William Hickey.
Probably not. You asked for it, you got it. Toyota.
He's the best.
He is the best, or was the best.
Blessing. Oh, he's so good. He's so good. All right. Well done. Let's see if we can get Wendi all up in it.
I bet we can. I bet if we all close our eyes and wish hard enough, Wendi will appear.
It seems possible, though she is offline, but that might just be out of practice. You know, it's been a bit since we've had her on, but we're about to find out if we're going to get lucky today. I'm going to pause this for a second. Because she is definitely offline. Let's see. Now she's on a phone, it says. Oh, that just means it's ringing to her phone. Ring to your phone. All right, let me just make sure she's good. I'm going to text her real fast.
Are you good?
Are you good?
Are you decent?
Oh. Yeah, let me re-ring her. So ring. Okay, so let me just text her real fast here.
Okay, all right.
Wendi shows...
Boy, 3 weeks, she forgets how to do all this stuff, doesn't she?
It's been a bit.
Yeah.
All right, I just sent her the question, you good? And now she'll write back in a... I'm getting dots. This is good. Yeah,
okay, that's a good sign.
That means mutual communication.
New phone, who dis?
Yeah, who dis? Hey, Scott, I have a personal request for you to shout out on your next Play Retro, if you don't mind. Oh, this isn't her. This is someone else. You have? Oh, it's Maddie. All right. I got my text mixed up. All right, nothing yet. We're going to keep trying here. I paused it for the people at home because they don't want to hear this. You poor video people have to sit and listen to us fumble for a phone call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. Oh, did you get your camera working? I was going to follow up on that.
No, still, it's showing. It's now showing outside, but it's showing outside from 9:51, and it's not moving. It's
So how would you know? Yeah. Like, what if Dave's like taking a shit on your porch? You never know.
I have no idea. Well, my Ring camera would pick it up.
Oh, right. Separate.
But I
deal.
can't keep the Ring camera on 24/7. That'll burn through its battery or something. I don't know. Can't be good for it. This is just a little...
I still don't have a Ring camera. I have something like it, like a knockoff thing. And that one's hooked into power. Do the Rings normally not have power? They're just a Wi-Fi
They
device?
can. You can hang them into... You can tap them into power. Actually, the one I have, I think, is using power. The doorbell button power.
Doorbell button power.
Doorbell button power.
Harness it with all your life.
Everyone knows it's Wendi.
Ah, look who it is. It's my sister Wendi, who has not been here for like 3 weeks or something.
Yeah, where have you been?
I know, it's been me the whole time. I had a dental thing that got in the way one week. I had an appointment
We had to go to
another week.
Vegas.
We had to go to Vegas. By the way, a lot of people there going, oh, we love Wendi. Tell Wendi hi. Wendi's great. And we tried to FaceTime you with a couple of them, but it didn't go through. Or you thought
I thought you butt dialed me. I didn't actually see it, but
yeah, you saw it later, and you're like,
FaceTime butt dial.
Yeah, FaceTime butt dial.
Butt
time.
worst kind.
Yeah, we call it butt time. Anyway, it's nice to have you here. I got to tell you a funny story about your son, Peter. Can I tell you that story?
Oh, sure.
It's really funny. So, not that funny, but whatever. Last night, it took me this long to see it. Last night, I'm playing a game on my Xbox Series X, and I'm on the couch and just chilling, and playing this game, and then I got a notification on the dashboard that said, "Hey, you got a bunch of captures that you haven't done anything with. Do you want to do anything with these captures?" Basically, that means, I captured some video or some screenshots of a game or something, and you can take those and export them and put them on social or whatever. Anyway, I thought, well, why do I have that many? There's like 50 in there, and I know I've only ever done maybe 10, 12, and the ones I do use, I end up deleting immediately. So it's not like they're there for a long time. I'm like, what is going on? So I go in there, and I noticed that nearly all of them are short video clips, like 30-second video clips of the game I played with Peter when you guys were in town. And so what it was, the controller, do I have one here? No. The Series X controller has a little button in the center that's a share button, basically. And it's a button that you only push when you want to capture like the last 30 seconds of gameplay or a quick screenshot or whatever. And you only do it when you mean to do it, and it's not like in the way, so you don't accidentally hit it very often. But Peter, when he plays games that are competitive at all, he is jumping around the couch, swinging all over the place, mashing buttons like there's no tomorrow. And he pushed that button more often, so I ended up getting 50 images or videos of nothing because Peter was just like a spaz on the controller. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, no, he is. It is hard.
So I'm leaving those on there.
Sit by him at dinner.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
I'm leaving those on there. It's our legacy of
That's funny.
Uncle Time or something. Anyway.
I thought he would do it on purpose, and then like he was just. Like,
no, he didn't do like a trick like where Brian did this in Vegas, where somebody'd say take a picture of us, and Brian would take pictures of himself with the reverse camera before he'd take the reverse.
Nice. I always do that, Brian. What does that mean about us?
Yeah, what does that say?
I think it's that we're awesome and funny and. That we like the surprise that they will inevitably feel when they look through their camera roll and see 15 pictures of us making faces.
Yeah, Wendi, you're
I do it with strangers all the time.
Oh my gosh! Take a picture. So like if somebody at a play like a vacation says, "Can you take this picture?" and you take it straight, really, you'll still do that?
Always, and I always act like I don't know how their camera works, and it just takes take a second. Yeah, and then I'll take
what
a
I
picture
do
of myself, and then
I do is I flip it around as they're handing it to me, and I say, "Okay, now nobody makes some weird faces like or this one here."
Yeah, you're taking pictures while you're doing it.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome.
This is great.
Really good.
So you're the human behavior expert. What does it say about you guys?
Yeah, and nothing. It's exactly what Brian said. We're awesome. We're funny.
Okay.
Exactly. We're bringing people joy, delayed joy. They'll find it later.
Yeah, delayed joy.
Yeah.
Like when this always reminds me back in the film days where you couldn't preview whatever pictures were taken recently. There was always these stories that if you went to the wrong hotel in Mexico, and then went back home and got your pictures developed, you'd find one of the maids or something putting your toothbrush in their bum or something weird like that.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
That was always the thing that freaked me out. I was always terrified of that.
Oh, you're so old.
Because they were called the maid.
Yeah, they were the maid. Yeah, that was a long time ago, and also I am old. Yeah, that is true. All right, let's get to this week's question. For those confused, because you've just started in the last 3 weeks, Wendy's a real professional therapist who comes on therapy Thursdays and talks to us about your real problems. People usually send us emails. We respond to those, and today is no different. So we're going to start with this one from somebody we're going to call AG. All right? Well, you know what? They're the Attorney General. Why not? I like that.
Perfect.
Totally.
AG.
Says, hi, everyone. I've been listening to your show for a while now, but I just got a burst of courage to send you an email. My boyfriend, Brandon, introduced me to TMS and Skim. I guess we're not giving Brandon a fake name. Whatever.
Oh, whoops. All right. Well.
We'll leave it. It's in there.
Go Brandon.
Yeah, go Brandon. There's a lot of Brandons, so it'll be fun.
Jeez.
Introduced me to TMS and Skim, and I have to say I love listening to Scott and Kim and how you interact with each other on Skim. That's very nice. And I told Kim about this, so she knows as well. I have a question for Wendi. I've been going through some mental health stuff lately, and I wanted to get your opinions on it in terms of how my boyfriend may be able to help, or even if he can. I was diagnosed, I'm going to say this word wrong, with trichotillomania. Okay, so this is a common thing you've heard of? You know, of course you know.
Trichotillomania, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Not common,
mega common, but it's common enough.
You know it enough. All right.
Yeah.
When I was 6 years old, she says she got this diagnosis. It's an OCD condition where the victim pulls out their own hair unconsciously or consciously as a coping mechanism for anxiety and release of serotonin. My mom saw it on Oprah in the 90s, checked my head, and put me into child therapy. Oh, man, how many people did that with Oprah, I wonder? Probably a lot.
Probably many.
Yeah. I don't know if that's good. Seems like it might be not good. Anyway, whatever. I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, I've been in therapy ever since, and I really love it now, but it took me a while to get to that point. Cut to high school, and along with getting diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder and depression in my sophomore year, in junior year, I took on too many activities /classes /jobs. She ended up going catatonic and ended up in the hospital for 2 weeks. I was then diagnosed with bipolar at the age of 17, which is a bit early to diagnose someone with that harsh of a disease. And has actually been proven wrong as of late. I had an on and off again relationship with my depression medication, but I have now accepted that I need it for the rest of my life. Turns out I may be adding another mental illness to the laundry list I already have, ADHD. I learned recently that its symptoms manifest differently in women than in men, and a lot of the symptoms are characterized as characteristics in women for some reason. I need to get officially tested, but by my psychiatrist next month. But I have a strong feeling that I'll need to go through the whole experimentation process of trying medications to help me cope. Okay, so here's my question: how do I explain all of this to my boyfriend Brandon? He doesn't suffer from any mental illnesses that I know of. I'm anxious to hear what Wendi says about that because I think we all have something. Anyway, thank goodness, but I probably have enough for both of us. But I'm not sure how he'll react to my mood swings and things like that if I need to experiment with different dosages or different ADHD medication. Have you two or anyone here ever gone through something similar like this? In the past, I was dating anyone while my psychiatrist put me on different meds. Oh, I wasn't dating anyone. Sorry. I was dating anyone. I wasn't dating anyone while my psychiatrist put me on different medications to see how I felt. I love Brandon, and I know we're going to get engaged and married soon, and I don't want to scare him off. That's not giving him enough credit at all. I know he'll be able to handle it, but I want to do this in the most delicate way possible for his sake. Have a wonderful week, AG. Okay. So that's a lot. Where do you want to start with it, Wendi? How do you want
I just have one question that she did not answer, which is he aware of any of this? Or are you...
It sounds like
Is he
not.
aware of the history, and then now we just don't want the experimenting with the meds for ADHD?
Does he know about the trichotillomania, or is it all new to him? I mean, obviously not knowing about the potential mood swings from the meds, but
yeah.
Okay, we'll get to the meds in a second. I that would be really helpful to know if this is all news to him and you are keeping your whole history from him, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or if it's just, I don't want to experiment with a new drug to help, right? Like she's stable, we're dating, things are going great. She just doesn't want to destabilize
upset
anything.
the apple cart. Yeah.
But
if you're listening, could you just quick text that?
Just text us that information. I don't feel like we know enough about the length of the relationship either. Not that that's maybe all that important, but it does seem like maybe.
What have you been through?
Yeah,
have
is
you
this
been
new?
through a Thanksgiving dinner at Jimmy's house?
Sure. And has she had any bad days where it was like, man, he's seeing me now and in this way, and he's never seen it before. Like all of those things seem like they would help us, know more about where you're at. But
right. And the other question, or the other thing she wrote,
there we go. He knows about all of it. Says,
good. Okay.
Yep.
Wonderful. Okay. And then also, he doesn't suffer from any mental illness that I know of. Thank goodness. I would just assume that she really does know that he doesn't suffer. He knows that he doesn't suffer. That's not a guess.
Right.
I assume.
Right. We'll assume that. Sure.
So some of it, and the reason I'm even asking any of those questions is, anyone dating and getting to know each other and then getting married, if I could have your 20-year-old selves talk to your 20-year later self come back and talk to you, they'll say you don't know each other at all.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're changing and growing and learning, and there's no way to know everything about everyone, right?
Right.
And so that's just a reality of relationships that, I wish what do we have normalized, right? We have sort of the falling in love stage is highly anticipated and shown over and over and over in all of your media. Like, you experience it's wonderful, and then real life for the next however long, a lot changes. And we don't have a lot of, maybe I'm wrong and maybe this is more so out there and I'm missing it, but just what mature, healthy relationships look like later. Mm-hmm. And some people may say, oh, my parents have been married 50 years, but I wouldn't say they've been happy. Yeah. So it's up and down what people are sort of seeing and knowing. So sometimes I just it's my two cents I always throw in of just like, yeah, it's going to change. It's okay. Like if there's enough now, you can make it work and you can figure that out. But it also means you're signing up for the old in sickness and in health situation, right? Mm-hmm. And so being really honest with what you already know can be really important. So I'm hoping that's the case. That was my real question is, if Brandon is fully aware of her history, what does he think about it? Does he have any idea? Has he read anything? There's some due diligence, that's the wrong word, but like some due diligence on his part of just like really understanding that stuff. Because most of us just meet people where they're at in the moment. And these words are just big, scary words, and I don't know what that means, but you seem to be fine and things are great.
Sure.
So maybe a little research on his part can be helpful. But let's talk about the ADHD thing. Okay.
Is it still considered super overdiagnosed these days? Not that applies here. I'm just wondering because there was always talk like, oh, everyone thinks they've got ADHD now, and it's like,
yeah, and it's because everyone has a form of it now.
Oh, sure. Interesting. Okay, so that wasn't all. That's not crazy. It's just that we're all.
Well, okay, hold on. So let's back up.
All right.
The difference between. Well, okay, and she brings up a really good point. It manifests itself differently in women. Let's add that to a list of things like heart attacks, depression, certain things, right? We have a male default model in medicine, which is we study how men experience things, and then we think that's how it's experienced. And that's not true. Women have a different response because we're not you. Anyway, so that's become new in sort of some of the understanding of it. It's why a lot of girls got missed in the 80s and 90s when things were starting to be more and more diagnosed because they just didn't present the way the boys did, and the boys were acting physically more, it was harder to ignore because they were jumping around quite a bit, right?
Right.
And so lots of the inattentive daydreamer types sort of got missed. So, okay, so here we go. We're looking at all these things. I mean, you're hospitalized at 17. They are seeing these major mood swings. I mean, she's giving a lot of interesting background that could look like a lot of different things. She's diagnosed with multiple things as time goes on. Bipolar has been misdiagnosed definitely for people, and actually as other things. That's not that uncommon, unless you get a really good clinician who diagnoses that all the time and can really see it. Because all these things, if we wrote a list, like we had a whiteboard and we put symptoms of generalized anxiety, symptoms of depression, symptoms of ADHD, symptoms of bipolar, symptoms of trichotillomania or any other anxiety, OCD type of disorder, you would say, wait, what? Because so many can look like each other. And then when you have multiple things going on, it's really hard to pull apart. So it sounds like it's been a complicated history. She's found some good things that are working. All that's good. The ADHD part, and here's what's crazy, is that someone with ADHD and didn't know it forever could have been diagnosed with other things previously, and really it was ADHD. Sometimes there's other things going on and they're getting diagnosed with ADHD when it's not. So this differential in diagnosing is incredibly difficult when you're a complex case. And often sort of we find a new diagnosis, it answers our question, and now we take a med, and now, maybe we're feeling better. But humans are way more complex than that, right? She doesn't talk about anything that sort of else, right?
Yeah.
We're talking in clinical terms. So I look at this one line where she says, I took on too many activities, classes, and jobs. Okay.
Yeah.
So raise your hand if you've taken on too many classes, activities, and jobs before.
Can I raise both hands if we're doing that now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And she ends up catatonic. Now, if everyone takes on those too many things, now everyone's going to end up catatonic in a hospital. That's probably because they have a type A situation going, or they're very driven, or there's a perfectionist thing. There is something else going on mentally and emotionally that leads someone to do too many things that they can't handle.
Yeah.
It's approval. I mean, there's a long list that it could be. And then there is ADD or ADHD, where it's like, I start a million things, I can't finish anything, I can't manage my time. It's hard to focus, and then I hyper focus and drop everything. Like, there is a version of taking on too much stuff with ADHD that is going to probably make you catatonic and end up in a hospital. And those listening who know they have ADHD or suspecting that they might, there's symptomology to this that is pretty extreme. So for the rest of us, we just sort of like, I got on Instagram and I wasted an hour.
Yeah.
I don't have great attention. Talk about an attention training machine. Have you ever been on Twitter so long that you could not have done anything else that long, that mindlessly? Do you have ADHD?
I mean,
no.
No.
But have you are you training your brain to get it?
Teaching, right, exactly. I'm trying to get it. I'm working towards getting ADHD.
So, okay, before we get too far from that concept, there's been, I feel like, and this was controversial for some reason, I even said this on Twitter, I feel like in some ways I have given myself ADHD, and I don't mean like some big pronounced acute case or anything, or any kind of particular, marked version of it. I just mean some of those tendencies to lose focus and jump to something else when I absolutely had no intention of doing it, or whatever. Like, I feel like I've done that to myself a little bit over time, because I don't remember being like this when I was younger. And I had somebody on Twitter go, "Don't say that. That's not how it works. You can't give yourself." I'm doing this voice, not trying to make fun of them. They were mad. They're like, "You can't give yourself ADD or ADHD. It doesn't work that way, or ADD or any of those things. You either have it or you don't, and you had it at birth or you don't have it at all." So I would like some actual, someone in the field who could tell me one way or the other. Because is that true? Are they right? Are they wrong?
Well, you're saying it flippantly too, right? Like, oh, I have OCD. I always clean my house really good, right?
Yeah.
There is a version of where we co-op mental health diagnoses in order, and we make it flippant, or it's thrown in movies in certain ways, and obviously it's way more complex than that. But that's what humans do with things they learn about, right?
Yeah.
And it's because all of us can sort of see ourselves in something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So take bipolar. Can you guys see yourself in bipolar from what you know from popular media and not from studying it and having a degree?
That's interesting.
See ourselves developing it?
Just that you have elements of it.
Oh.
By the way it's been portrayed by popular media, yeah. Because popular media, I assume, gets it wrong.
It just is basically, popular media says it's mood swings. It's you're angry some of the time, but then you're happy some of the time.
Yeah.
Which is
and it's
just
quick. You can just good mood, bad mood. Totally, right?
It's iceberg,
all of us. It's all of us. Everyone could be diagnosed on a bad week with this thing. And so that's kind of the age-old behavior of humans, is to make stuff about them, right? Or see a face in your toast or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Pete's been, by the way, talk about ADHD, guys. He bought some googly eyes and has literally googly-eyed my whole house. But I didn't know he did it, so suddenly I pick up the TV remote. It's because you can see a face everywhere, right?
Yeah.
The human ability to see a face everywhere.
Sure.
Then we have a human ability to also sort of take shortcuts to explain stuff, and popularizing of mental disorders and challenges has been that thing where we can just easily see something, label it, and then we don't take it as seriously, because we aren't actually living the life of someone with bipolar.
Right.
It's an incredibly difficult disorder to live with, and needs to be treated, or your life is ruined, truly, right? Versus I'm mad and now I'm happy. That's not the same thing. So yes, do we need to be more careful will the popular culture just do this anyway? Yes, they will. So ADHD is very similar. We are all a little more attention deficit, absolutely, because we're literally training our brains to be. And I don't know long-term what that looks like, but we've only had attention devices in our hands for 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
You know? So is everyone experiencing some form of this? Yeah. Now, this is probably, so let's talk about diagnostic rates really quick. So when you think of why are so many more people being diagnosed with ADHD, a piece of it is that we are all more attention deprived or deficit in our behaviors, right? And people are procrastinating or failing at things or feeling crappy, or I don't know, pandemic maybe has played into that a little, messed with a lot of things, and you're trying to find an answer or a reason.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you the criteria for ADHD so you can just hear it, what it is.
All right.
And then of course, this is not how you diagnose. This is the first step, or like you explain, are you experiencing these things? And then there's actual testing that will diagnose you. Okay.
And
so
the worst
this
thing that could happen here is Wendi will describe this, and either Brian or I will be distracted by something. So we're going to try really hard not to be distracted while you say
you guys focus.
Okay.
Right.
We totally focus.
Tweet.
Ooh, shiny.
Yeah, and think about that exactly. Like a dopamine delivery system grabs your attention. We are built to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we talked about this a while ago, but just this idea of like, how is our brain, it's wired around a couple of experiences that are very fundamental and almost instinctual. And one is eating distracted, right? Like eat the berries off the bush.
Right.
Yeah,
You're
really
watching
quickly.
Yeah.
And make sure there is no tiger coming to kill you while you're eating these berries that you're never going to get again.
Yeah.
So think of that as like historical training for, like you're saying, watch YouTube while you scarf something down and not think about what you're eating, right? That's an example of like our survival brain will do what it takes to survive. So if I get dopamine from a tweet suddenly showing up, I'm going to go where the dopamine takes me, right? So just real quick. How many tabs? Yeah. How many tabs you guys have open on your browser?
Oh, this is hilarious. You're bringing this up because I'm always teasing Brian for this, but I only have 3. I have our show notes, I have the chat room, and I have. Oh, the other one's blank, so I have a blank tab up. I don't know why that's up. So I only have.
Where are your
2.
others? Do you just have them minimized?
No, I don't have any. That's it.
You have nothing open.
No, I'm weird. Well, I have software to run the show, but that's it. I don't have any other distracty things up. And here's the thing. That's just a weird thing that I do. Brian, I'll let Brian speak for himself, but we've had this conversation many times about why I'm so I hate tabs being open. I close them all the time. I always feel like they're using too much resources.
Yeah, they totally are.
Bugs me. So
Brian,
I sadly use them.
Background attention getting too, right? Like you're actually.
My problem is that I use them as a to-do list, right? So I have 9 open right now.
9? That's not bad. Yeah, 9's all right.
That's not bad. I've got the show notes. I've got today's music. I've got orders on Coverville that as soon as the show's over, I've got to put together some T-shirts and ship them out. I've got eBay open because after that, I have to put 3 computers on eBay for a client. I've got an SSL checker because another client is having problems with their SSL certificate, and this is like a refreshing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got one for the correct placement of bicycle cleats because at some point today I gotta reset the placement of my bike cleats before I get on the bike. So it is absolutely a to-do list. Yeah.
I have 16, and that's only one of the windows I'm using. The rest, each one has 3 to 5, and it's all subject based, and it's all my to-do list. Right.
Yeah.
Now, Brian, do you consider yourself having ADHD?
I do in the pop culture sense, right? Like the trying to keep all the balls in the air, but I don't think I really do have it. No.
Yeah, I don't either. But I have definitely gained the pop culture sense of it.
Yes.
And I think because right here we just described a technological way to balance way too many things and start to feel like you're not actually doing well at any of them, right? Because humans actually can only give our attention to one thing. We believe we can multitask. There is so much research to show we are terrible at it, but we also have this wonderful ego thing that says we're actually doing it well. So that illusion is a tough one. Okay, so let me go through, let me go back to the email for just a second. I want to answer one question she had about experimenting with medication for ADHD while being in this relationship.
Right.
So the difference between ADHD medication versus other things is, especially antidepressants or any kind of ongoing treatment, is that you need a sustained level in your system of an antidepressant for that to work. It takes up to 3 weeks for that to sort of kick in, to really get benefit. You have to raise the dose till you find the right therapeutic dose for people. Like, it's a process. So she's coming from that experience with all these different diagnoses, and that you should be afraid and have a little, see, I'm going to use PTSD in the same way that we use it. Yeah. A little lowercase PTSD about trying meds and seeing if, they work or not. So understandably that you are concerned about this, right?
Right.
But the actual medication for ADHD is a stimulant. It's some type of, it's either Ritalin or Adderall, or, there's variations in between of things that they can do. And sometimes, anyway, those are one a day. It works for the day. It doesn't work tomorrow.
Yeah.
It doesn't stick in your system. It means, and the figuring out usually is something like, I take it in the morning, I run out of steam by 4 o'clock. Okay, I need an extended release one. Or if I take it too late in the day, I can't sleep at night, or don't drink caffeine with it. That's the figuring out. And the immediate relief from the medication should be apparent. This isn't the as much as a crapshoot as some of the other medication testing is, and it doesn't take as long to figure out. You kind of know pretty quickly. Okay, I have less fog. I'm able to focus. There is a normalcy. I'm using quotes. You can't see them. Normalcy factor that happens when folks with ADHD get the right medication is that their brain goes. It actually, the part that's going slow speeds up, and the whole system's just sort of feels more comfortable. And then they look around and go, is this how everyone else experiences life? Because it is alarming.
I hear that all the time. Yeah. It reminds me when I got my cataracts fixed. I couldn't believe how other people see things. I was like, whoa, really? Really? It's not all yellow and gross? Weird.
And then you're like, you guys complain about what now? Because you can see, it's that, it's all.
Yeah, it's revelatory. And then you ease into it, and now it's the new normal. But there is that moment of like, wow, this is life, I guess. Yeah.
And not to say this is not clinically solid, so everyone just half listen to this. But when it is and it isn't, in the sense of you take the medication, you have ADHD, you will feel that benefit, and you actually are calmer and focused, and can, some of the chatter stops in your head like it's coming out of a cloud. If you do not have ADHD and you take a stimulant, you're gonna focus. You might be high. You might have a ton of energy, right? Like, but you're not gonna
You're not getting the therapeutic
You're not gonna get
benefit.
to your homeostasis, right?
Yeah.
So that's not a way everyone can do diagnostically, right? Like, okay, give me some Ritalin, let's see what happens, And a lot of states are doing a lot more, as they should, and always should have, a lot more sort of quality control in the sense of you can only be diagnosed by certain people, and those who can prescribe that medication. Like, I know this is true in Ohio and some other states that I'm familiar with, of just like, we're not kind of handing this out to college kids like candy anymore. And we're not anybody who comes along, just because it does help you get your finals done. You know what I mean? Like, you can sniff it and feel like God for a weekend, right? Like, there is some abuse of this kind of drug that clearly is like all things humans do. We like to mess with something helpful and make it fun. Okay, so can I just read these for everyone's sake?
Sure, of course.
All right, so there's ADHD, stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. There is an Inattentive Type, and there is a Hyperactive Impulsive Type. So we've got two subgroups. So if I'm reading this and you're like, me, and it's messing with your life, okay, that's really key. Because being on Twitter for 2 hours accidentally one evening and losing focus, if it ends your marriage and you're, losing your job, then right? But if it's just the kind of normal stuff we have because we get dopamine in lots of places, not the same. So, okay. So the Inattentive Type, I'm just going to read through them, and you can raise your hand if you guys want. Makes careless mistakes, lacks attention to detail.
I do pretty good
Occasionally, sometimes.
Occasionally, yeah, but I do pretty good there. Not too
Okay,
bad.
so when I'm talking to someone who definitely has ADHD, they're like, yes. Like, there's no doubt there, right? Next, difficulty sustaining attention.
Let me ask you this, because can it be, to kind of speak to the previous one, can it be that you are, if it's dependent on the situation, that might mean something different than just good old-fashioned clinical ADHD, right? In other words, if you're just prone to making those mistakes because you hate email and you're not really reading what it said and you're just sort of flippantly answering and it turns out you were wrong with the answer because you didn't really read it, versus I'm making a project and it's for a big deal and I got to get this done and it's a big commission and I'm very meticulous about focus on it. What does that mean? Does that mean that it's not really? That just means I need to tighten up the graphics a little bit on my email usage.
Or you're just not perfect at everything, or you just have a tendency this way or that, right? Like, this will just be a consistent pattern, usually from childhood, if not always from childhood. Sometimes we're not as aware that, you're just compensating for these things all the time. You're exhausted because so let me keep reading these. I'll just read them through really quick. So, does not seem to listen when spoken to directly. So you can imagine how that plays a role in someone's life and development. And, fails to follow through. Are you listening to me? Yeah, exactly. And then you start to feel crappy about yourself because the feedback is all of that. Okay, so fails to follow through on tasks and instructions, exhibits poor organization, avoids dislike tasks requiring sustained mental effort, loses things necessary for tasks or activities, easily distracted, including unrelated thoughts, is forgetful in daily activities. I'm going to tell you right now, I would have said no to all of these things until pandemic, and now I feel like I can say most of those things.
Oh, interesting. I wonder why that changed it.
I don't know. I wonder, did I secretly have COVID and not know, and now I have brain fog forever? Or is it just, I don't know, I had to homeschool 4 kids suddenly, and, was it just ongoing stress that then, as it's, alleviating to some extent, it's different. I don't know. But I do suspect, because self-referential processing, I'm experiencing that. And so somebody else must be too, right?
Yeah.
I can't be the only one who is feeling some of this. I don't know what day it is, does anyone else have that? I feel like there's some just things that, I'm not clinically ADHD.
Yeah.
Never have been, hopefully never will officially be, but I definitely can find some of this going on just after difficult stress, right?
Oh,
so
certainly.
you can, everyone's going to be in different places for different reasons. I also want to throw one other thing out, is when a kid is living in a really chaotic home or an emotionally cold home, or, there's other things happening in a childhood sense of difficulty, a child will respond in lots of different ways. And some of it is to leave the room in their head, right? To dissociate, this is why, diagnosing children and other things are really complicated. Is there something else going on for this person that is, their only safe space for them to be is an imaginary world, or, that type of thing. Or on the hyperactivity part, or impulsivity, you get a kid who's abused, he's going to act impulsive in class, and we're going to label that ADHD, and then we're going to put them on a medication that maybe it's going to help, but the core chaos at home isn't being addressed. So this is where, humans are so funny. We want a simple answer. We want Occam's razor to always be the thing.
Yeah.
Right? But then humans are there's way more to it. We are not going to talk about the abortion debate, but it is a perfect example of this thing. It's one or the other to certain people. It is much more complicated.
It's always binary to some. That's the problem, right? That or any other big issue, the nuance is almost always lost when we're doing macro views of anything.
Right. And there's a good reason for that too. If understanding this can help me have a little more compassion for it, which is it feels so safe, right?
Yeah.
It's just safety. You can know that right and say what's wrong and feel good.
Yeah.
They're talking about a dopamine hit, right? And so we all have our versions of it. Maybe And everyone varies, right? It's a miracle we have anything functioning. Okay. Anyway, so let me talk about hyperactivity impulsivity, because this one you're going to feel less connected to maybe, but you think about kids or how this might work, right? So fidgets with or taps hands or feet, squirms in seat. This is for adults, by the way. Sorry, I'm giving adult symptoms, not children.
Often, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Leaves seat in situations when remaining in seat is expected.
Oh, geez.
No way. You kidding? If I'm expected to remain in my seat, by golly, my butt's planted.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
trying to think. I don't think I have that problem or ever have that I know of.
Have you experienced another adult doing that?
Oh yeah.
And you're like,
I used to
"Hello?"
work for one, and he still owes me $89,000. But anyway.
Okay. So that was
Yeah.
probably a
Wow.
undiagnosed ADHD walking around. Okay. Experiences feelings of restlessness.
Well, that I definitely feel
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
all the time.
Has
Always.
difficulty engaging in quiet, leisurely activities.
What would you say,
Often.
Brian? Often?
Yeah. Often. Yeah. Like if it's Tina's like, Brian, it's reading time. Like we'll have the TV off and she's reading a book and it's like, no, I want to put on MASH. Can I put on MASH? Can I play
I wanna
the
watch MASH.
PlayStation?
Yeah, I want to binge a show that's 50 years
Brian,
old. What are you
it's
doing?
reading time.
Yeah,
It's like,
I
fine,
feel
I'll
like-
play something and then.
I feel like I have
adorable.
a problem with that, but only in like I know when it's like, all right, I need to be leisure right now. Like I've had a long day, I've done a lot of stuff. It's time for me to
Yeah.
chill. Where I struggle is, okay, which of the 5,000 things I like doing should I do?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I hate that.
But I feel like
feeling.
once you settle in on it, I feel like you're really good at like seeing, oh, here's me outside in the hammock reading a book with the dog in my lap. It's like, oh, man,
once I
wish
choose
could
it.
do that.
Yeah, once I choose it, you're right. I'm kind of all
You
in.
have paradox of choice.
I
Just
do
to
have
me,
I have a
actually.
major paradox, or what's that called? Choice
Analysis
paralysis. Yeah.
paralysis or something.
Yeah,
Oh.
choice paralysis. I have that so bad with things. I like too many things. You know,
That's a different.
it's a different
diagnostic
issue.
list.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing.
Okay.
But
All right. Keep going. Is on the go or acts as if driven by a motor.
no,
I feel like that's all Silicon Valley.
sometimes. Like the one thing that was really good about Vegas is it felt like a big recharge to just I don't know. It was just good to
Without
finally
a
have
doubt,
one of
yeah.
these. So it's instead of us talking to a bunch of names in a chat, it was like, oh, well, also we know them by their face and we got to interact with them, and only 3 of them got
yeah.
COVID, and it was great. And
Oh, good.
yeah,
Only 3.
well,
That's good.
and they all
Only
seem to be
3.
doing fine, as best I can tell.
Yep.
They're all
Yep.
recovering.
Cold symptoms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all vaxxed and triple vaxxed and all that. Anyway, and one of them yelled like in my face next to me, not mad, but barking out rules to a board game, and so far we're all good. So I don't know what happened there.
Good.
Anyway,
All right.
Yeah.
Next, 3 real quick. I'll just read them fast. Talks excessively, blurts out answers, has difficulty waiting their turn,
Yes.
interrupts,
Yes.
or intrudes on others.
I feel like we just got tested there.
You did. So,
Totally.
so really, I'm not telling our emailer, anything to do specifically with this. It sounds like progressing with getting analyzed and find out if this is a correct diagnosis for her.
Mhm.
The medication thing is such a different ball game. It's more like instant relief rather than hoping this works and waiting it out and feeling crappy most of the time. And so I think she's going to have a different experience. But if we sort of summarize what I hope for her or what I hope for them is it's not that mental illness will destroy every relationship. It has the power to really make things difficult. What really destroys most relationships, it's the same thing whether there's a mental illness or not. And it's this sort of inability to figure out how to communicate about the stuff, right? Because you could take 2 people with no history of mental illness and then they're just like run into whatever problems that come because they come and they have no way to communicate about it. They're just as at risk as this not working out as someone with a mental illness in the sense of, because at that core level, what the other person needs and how to communicate back and forth is going to be how you navigate anything, right? And so that's why I was the most concerned is, has she told him all the things, right? And getting him, the gift is only one of you has to struggle Great. The other one is the struggle will be, how do I help support this person? And that person will have Brandon's going to have some struggles in his life too. This is just how real life works. And really navigating that underlying, can we communicate? Are we safe with our weaknesses and vulnerabilities together? How do we handle when I am really struggling and I need to lay in bed for a couple of days? What does he do to get support for himself and also make sure you're okay? This is just the secret sauce to a healthy marriage and ultimately a family, if that's what you choose to do. And being a part of community, right, is getting to know what you need and asking for it. Now, a lot of us aren't very good at that because life has either been okay for a while and we haven't needed anything in theory, or we've got some skills and we apply those skills and then they're not really tested until they're tested. So, it's kind of flexibility and growth mindset of this isn't, nothing's pre-written here, but being prepared and smart about it and open and, gain as many skills as you can really is your best bet. And if this ADHD diagnosis is it and the medication does what it's supposed to do, you're going to have a lot of relief, right? There's a lot of good things that can come from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I feel like that was kind of your point. Everybody's got little versions of this. I definitely feel an uptick of this since the pandemic started. And if I'm honest, maybe without getting into details, around 2016 or so and forward, I've had an uptick of these sorts of things in my own life. And it just all sounds way too familiar. Now, I would never want to go, well, that must mean I got ADHD. There's always this. I was thinking about this yesterday. Sorry, I'm all over the place with this, but I was thinking about this yesterday. I was going to bring it up with you. This feeling of if I broke my arm playing basketball, let's say, broke my elbow or whatever, I could strut around all my friends going, yeah, I broke my arm. How'd you do it? I was playing basketball. I was going in for a layup, and stuff went south. And boy, howdy, it'll heal though. We're all good. So it's almost cool to have that injury.
Yes.
If I walk into a room with those same people and say, if you kind of had a bit of a nervous breakdown from blah blah blah, this, that, or the other, ABC, why are we so weird about those? Why is that so different? Because one of them,
mental injuries versus physical injuries.
Yeah. Or and I realize some physical injuries are not great. If I walked into a room and said, well, I sat on a bike, but the seat was taken off and that pipe thing went all the way up my butt. So I'm bleeding from my anus now. No one's going, yeah, I'm bleeding from my anus. It's been a hell of a, so nobody's doing that. So part of me thinks, well, that's why, because we have things that as humans we find gross or off-putting because we're designed to survive, and we'd never want to have a pipe up our butt because it means that's a big death risk, versus an elbow breaking is just not a big deal. Yep. And I don't know why some mental health is why that's in that category. And then why people use it to just brush off simple things, like to say, oh, I cleaned my room this morning. I have such OCD. Shut up.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You cleaned your room. Give me a break. That's like people saying, I spoke to God today. Oh, what'd he say? He helped me find my car keys on the couch. Okay, well, you're weird. You know what I mean? I guess, I don't know if this is making sense, but why? What is that? And is that a whole other episode, and I should save it for another time?
I think it's a whole nother episode, but I will say a couple things. But maybe someone could write us something to launch off of that from their own experience. Just the other day, I was talking to a client who, her husband struggles with mental illness, and he's we walk through, if he had cancer, how differently she would behave.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not only how differently would everyone else behave. They'd bust in with casseroles and make sure, she got support or, whatever. And I've thought about this in terms of cancer specifically. Cancer feels like something that happened to you, and it's not your fault. And I mean, we always have to decide, if you have lung cancer, what kind, did you make it happen or not? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's that kind of version of things that is as long as it's not your fault And it could happen to any of us because that's become the reality. It could happen to anybody. There is some compassion that just kind of comes naturally. But this is why stigma around mental health has been so bad for so long, is I do think there is a very core, and I don't know if it's survival, maybe. I have to think more about it, but just that it's got to be your fault. You must have done something. That's why advice for so long has been, well, just get up and go on a walk. That'll fix it. As if behavior is the only way, this is explained. And there's some versions of, maybe I've told this story a long time ago. I had a client forever and ever ago who worked in a cancer clinic of all places and started to have some psychosis and just personality changes. And so I started working with her, and, it seemed like a psychiatric disorder, and like, let's get you in. We might need to hospitalize you. All this stuff is happening. And she had a lot of traumatic things happen in this state. And then finally was in a hospital and begging someone to give her an ultrasound. Because this is someone who knew about cancer and how the body works for the most part, right? She just said, something is wrong with me that is, and you all think it's just my brain. Anyway, she had a tumor the size of a football. That was emitting, she was a bit overweight, so she didn't know, and it was emitting these toxins, and these neurotoxins were acted as a psychosis mechanism. And so they remove the tumor, she recovers, we're having a conversation, she has no memory of those times, of all the things that happened. And you just think, what? So let's be clear, everything that is happening has some biological origin. We just aren't advanced enough to know what it all is, right? And patterns of behavior that we think are controllable because it's confusing. What's controllable or what's not, So it really gets complicated. And I just think we shortcut it to, it was a choice, just don't do that. I don't experience that, so that doesn't make sense to me. And then the more and more people can say out loud they're experiencing something, get help, get treatment, the more it's sort of normalized, the more stigma is dropped. The more people say, oh, I love therapy, it's so great. And the more you hear that, you realize literally every one of us has something going on. We're all on the spectrum of human experience, right? Yeah. Some might just be a little further down the road in a way that's uncomfortable or painful than you are. So it really is not unlike cancer in that, we're all sort of not that different from one another. I just think we don't know how to fix it. A broken arm, you put in a cast, I can see the cast. It's not about your private part or some inner thought. It's just feels straightforward. Yeah. So maybe it's a survival response of that's not going to be that's not contagious. I wonder if there's a contagion feeling too.
Maybe.
Some people have.
I always wonder about that. Yeah. Cancer. I know cancer diagnoses make people nervous and it shouldn't. It's not, it's like it doesn't catch or, you're not going to spread it or whatever. So I've always wondered why people are a little bit like, oh, they have colon cancer.
Yeah, a couple of Tina's friends kind of backed away from her communication-wise when she...
Ooh, I freaking hate that. I hate that.
Yeah.
That makes me want to kick him in the Vuh-Jays. That makes me really mad that they did that to her. Sorry, that makes me pissed.
The Vuh-Jays?
The Vuh-Jays.
The vaginas. Yeah, the vaginas.
I didn't say what sex they were.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Brian did not mention gender, so it's fine. The penises.
Why do you genderize everything, Scott?
I don't know. He, him.
I would love that, actually. If someone has something that this has resonated with, and send us something in to jump off with, because it really is, it's tricky. It actually relates to a lot of the political thinking that is divergent among folks too, of just what repels someone and what doesn't, what causes disgust in someone and what doesn't. And just humans really, we vary in how we experience these things, but we do react when something disgusts us or when something scares us or when, and we're maybe more tuned to different things. So I kind of throw one other thought.
Yeah.
I think, this is my gig. I can see you across the room and be like, that person's struggling. I could talk to you all day. I am not afraid of you.
Yeah.
But what I do experience is, oh no, if they start talking about it, it's going to be a bunch of my time, right? I don't get to control my time if they bring it to me.
Yeah.
because I do know what this is about. I know how hard this is to be, and I need to be, empathetic and present. And I think sometimes people don't do that regularly in their life. They don't have a lot of practice being present with someone in pain. A lot of nurses and doctors do. A lot of therapists do, right? Like, we train in this. We know how to sit with this stuff. And I can imagine when you don't have a clue and there's a party that needs to fix things if someone brings you a problem, you can't fix it. It's incredibly uncomfortable. So someone's going to need my time. I don't have the answers. That is, though the person is like, I just need support. You're just going, I am not capable of any of that. So there's maybe a self-protection thing of like, I can't actually deal, it must be their fault. Because I can't do anything about it.
Sure. All this said, I do think we're better than we've ever been. Like we've got issues, but I think mental health awareness and how we deal with it and how we treat each other, I think that stuff exponentially better than it was when I was growing up. Like we're not even near where that was. So, we're a rising road on this stuff, but there's always progress to be made.
Right. All you got to do is watch good news videos of kids being amazing that you're like, all right, we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine.
Yeah. And go join the do-gooders group. I got a good one I'm putting in there later. Anyway, there you go, Wendi. Always fun, and felt weird not having you for so long, but
I know. It's like empty.
Where has my Wendi gone?
If only you would have known about Vegas and could have joined us.
Yeah,
there.
If only your own brother had told you ahead of time so that you could have planned maybe to come.
Do you know what? I almost did this. I almost emailed Brian and just said, I'm coming. I want to surprise Scott.
That would have been amazing.
And then I looked at the dates and I was like, I don't have time to buy a ticket. That's so much money. Never mind. Yeah. So I didn't do it.
Yeah, the flight's outrageous for that short amount of time. But
anyway,
don't worry.
I'm glad you guys got back safe and only 3 people.
Only 3 COVIDs, yeah. And my thinking is that if things continue to go well on that front, then we'll for sure do this again next year. And then I will give you not only well ahead notice, but really well ahead notice. Okay?
You should, as well as maybe come out this direction sometime.
I should come that direction sometime. But as Justin Robert Young has said, Scott only likes Vegas and Anaheim. It's the only 2 places he ever goes. So
and that place in Ohio that you went.
Oh, I liked Columbus. Yeah, Columbus was nice.
Columbus. I'm telling you, there's more things like Columbus than you know.
Oh, I know.
You just need to leave.
I want more towns where the airport can be seen from my hotel in the middle of the city. Like, I loved how small Columbus was, because I don't mean it's a small town. It's not. It's a city, but it felt like everything was just because the West is so spread.
So spread, yeah.
And you go to other parts of, early parts of the country, older states or whatever, and you just see these like cities where it's still a city, but everybody can just get to everything. I loved that. I thought that was so rad. Yeah. Anyway, revelatory. You should Wendi, have a great week, and tell Peter thanks for all the video clips.
I will.
And we'll see you next time.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, Wendi.
All right. There she goes.
Cool.
That was a good one. Long one, but a good one. And it was nice having the person in question in the chat.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, AG.
Yeah, I hope you're doing good. I think that was really cool that you laid it all out like that, and I hope it was helpful to hear some of that stuff today. Okay, we are going to get out of here. Before we do, a reminder to the folks at home that this show cannot subsist without your help over at patreon.com/TMS. So if you would like to support the show and have not done so already, even $1 a month would be helpful, and it's that easy to do. Just head on over to patreon.com/TMS and do that today. Some new shows today. Brian, you got a new Coverville coming up, yeah?
I do. Finally, after 2 weeks off for Vegas and other things, coming back strong with a show about Paul Heaton, who's turning 65. And you're like, Paul Heaton? I don't know that name. No, you probably don't.
I don't.
He is the lead singer of a band called the House Martins back in the 80s, which morphed into the Beautiful South. And while those band names maybe don't sound super familiar to you, the songs they made will be familiar to you. So check it out. House Martins, Beautiful South, and Paul Heaton's solo coming up on Coverville, twitch.tv/Coverville at 1 p.m. Mountain Time.
I owned that, the people who
Grin Themselves to Death?
The Grin Themselves. Yep. I had that album.
That is a great album.
Yeah. It was I could never remember the name of it because it's so weird.
With Happy Hour and...
that was a great album.
Me and the Farmer, I think, was on that one.
5 Get Me... Something.
5 Get Overexcited.
Yes.
Yep.
Such a good album.
It was a really good album, yeah. So covers of a couple of those songs you just mentioned going to be on the show today.
You're going to make me go back and listen to some old 80s music,
I am.
aren't you?
Nothing wrong with listening to the House Martins. They were a fun band.
Indeed.
And one of their members went on to become Fatboy Slim.
No.
Yes.
That's all I know. I love Fatboy Slim.
Come a long, long way together from the heart and the good.
All right. What did Carter say? Oh, I love this chat.
I love this chat. Y'all make me feel
Okay, I thought
all
she was
warm and
making a
fuzzy
joke
inside.
about her dad, and I was going to give her a hard time.
No, but she easily could, and it would be
She
fine.
easily could, and it would be fine. She's allowed, as like anybody else. Okay, so Core also tonight. I know I mentioned it earlier. Just real quick again, a reminder, we do it live at 5 p.m. Mountain Time right here at frogpants.tv or twitch.tv/frogpants, whichever you prefer. And be me, John, and Bo breaking down this week's news, talking about games we're playing. I want to talk about Baking Simulator.
Oh, good! Another chorecore game.
Another chorecore game that I really
like. Maybe that's what ArcLight, what a Rumble needs to be, is like mowing Azeroth.
Yeah.
Or
cooking for orcs or whatever. Make one of those
exactly,
games.
Yes.
Absolutely. I also I think I'm going to finish the Gunk. And if you're like, what the hell's that? It's a really cool game that came out late last year that not enough people are playing. So we'll talk about that.
What was the game you told me before Vegas that was really good on the Switch?
It's by the same people who make the Gunk, which is why I'm playing the Gunk. It is SteamWorld Dig 2 is the game you want to get.
SteamWorld Dig 2. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Don't worry about Dig 1. You don't need it to play 2. 1 is fine, but 2 is such a leap forward. It's so good.
I might actually buy that before Coverville and play that instead of Pokemon Arceus.
And it's so cheap. It's like
it is $20.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Yeah.
Totally worth it. Goes on sale all the time. It's just a great what a gem of a game that is. Anyway, so that's tonight, 5 p.m. Mountain, and of course Coverville today at 1:30. 1
p.m.
Why did I say 30?
Mountain.
I don't know.
I'll still be playing at 1:30.
Yeah.
So,
So who knows what I'm saying? That's it. Thanks everybody for being here. Go to frogpants.com/TMS for all your TMS needs. Let's get out of here with a song, and once again, Brian has one.
This one's going out to a guy who's always in our chat room, resident tadpooler James Karen Grammer. I don't know what his real middle name is, but I'm going to say it's Karen because it's K. J.K. Grammer says, for my 50th birthday this May 5th, could the Modoc-loving covermeister play me a cover of Forever Young by Alphaville? Oh. It's such a great, cheesy 80s song. I'd like to dedicate it to my wonderful girlfriend, Sarah. It's kind of become our song, as it was one of the clues when we played Song Pop Party the night we first met. I love you, Sarah. Oh, and much love to Scott and Brian and the entire Tadpool and a caveman.
Oh, that's all nice. Hold on. So we do this twice. So we do that. 50's a big one, dude. Welcome to the club. And
exactly.
Happy to have you here. You're a super nice guy, and I love Alphaville. So you're speaking my language. And then this is me killing time while I try to find that other clip. What was it now? I forgot what he wanted.
I don't know. And a caveman.
And a caveman. Oh, shit. Do I not have that handy? Hold on. Oh, for a 50th birthday, I got to get it.
Oh.
Hold on. Caveman. Here we go. And a caveman.
And a caveman.
Well, that was a lot of work.
There we go. Well done.
All right.
So it satisfied all the anticipation for sure.
Good.
I love now that everybody's calling him Karen, James Karen Grammer.
Yep. It's now the law. It's the law of the land now.
That's right. Love you, man. All right. So how about a cover of Forever Young? Listen, a buddy of mine, one of my former roommates in college, got me into Alphaville as well, and I bought all their albums and still buy them. Like, they're still putting out music.
Yeah.
And they kind of did the aha thing where, that album we all know, which was called Forever Young, and the Afternoons in Utopia, which was the follow-up. Both were like super poppy, but the stuff they've been putting out more recently is way more mature sounding and adult. It's really, really good. All right. How about this cover by Scary Pockets? You know Scary Pockets. It's the other band formed by Jack Conte besides Pomplamoose. This is from their Best of 2019 album, which came out in 2020, which makes sense. Wouldn't come out before. Here's Scary Pockets featuring Madison Cunningham and Forever Young.
This show is part of the Frogpants Network.
Frogpants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
Yippee! Yahoo! Hooray! Yippee! Yahoo!
Oh, man.
Well, that's a sign that somebody has done that take 100 times